Good to see everybody. So let's talk about multi-time frame trading and how to trade multiple time frames together. So let's start with the basics, and let's start with a higher time frame. And on a higher time frame, the way I use a higher time frame, especially in my new trading strategy, which is that the higher time frame is used to determine the direction. Am I looking for long entries? Am I looking for short entries on the lower time frames, or am I not interested at all? So when we start looking at a higher time frame, the most important, or the foundation, is always look for trend structure, look for highs and lows, look for pullbacks, and look for continuation waves. And we can also add a moving average to the higher time frame to just help us understand, okay, are we in a bull market? Are we in a bear market? Are we looking for longs and shorts? And generally speaking, by the way, this is the 50 period moving average. Then what you want to do is you want to be on the right side of the moving average. So if you are, or if the price is below the moving average, you are usually looking for shorts. If you're above the moving average, you're looking for longs. So what we are doing now is we're looking for pullbacks into the moving average, and then we drop to the lower time frame and time our trades. And I marked pullback scenarios here on the higher time frame. So whenever the market is moving, it's always the buyers and the sellers, it's always accumulation and distribution, and the best trading opportunities happen during pullback phases. Obviously, if the price is below the 50 period moving average and the price or the trend is down, you want to sell, and you want to sell for the highest possible price. And the highest possible price exists always during pullback phases. So when the market is making a pullback and a correction phase. So let's take a look at those green highlighted areas on the lower time frames. So you can see those are the green areas. Now we are moving from the daily time frame to the 4-hour time frame as our lower time frame. So those are the pullback periods on the lower time frame. So let's take a look at how they look. And we want to look always for patterns. Patterns are, as I've mentioned many times during other videos and live streams, is that patterns connect different trending phases. Patterns connect downtrends and uptrends. Patterns also are the foundation in pullback phases. So what you want to make sure is that you can really nicely define patterns during pullback. So here you can see we have a triangle pattern. We have a nice trend line here at the bottom, and we have here a triple top. We even have a fake out pattern here. So we have a trap, which may help you to get into trades earlier, but the most conservative and the regular approach would be to wait for a breakout out of the pattern here to the downside. And that is how you then find trades into the bigger picture. So this is the green highlighted area that we are seeing here. So it helps us to find trading opportunities during pullbacks when the market moves back into the moving average on the higher time frame. And then on the breakout, we can then time trading ideas or trades into the long-term direction. And you can see once the market has really cleared the pattern, and once the pullback is over, and once the accumulation or distributions is over, then you can often see that the trend is resuming in a very nice orderly fashion. So never get involved in a pattern, and always wait for a clear breakout. So excurse, what are patterns? Patterns can be a cup and handle, and usually what I distinguish between two types of patterns. One pattern uses horizontal levels, so support and resistance. You can see horizontal where the cup is, and then the handle, and then on the breakout you have a trend continuation. Or a head and shoulders can also be a trend or a pattern, obviously a transition pattern. A head and shoulders also uses a horizontal level. We have multiple head and shoulders, you can see that. We have retest opportunities as well. And we also have patterns which are diagonal defined patterns. So we not only have patterns where we have a straight line, but we also have patterns where we have a diagonal line, so where we have a trend line based pattern. So in this case we have a wedge, or however, or whatever you want to call that. And the most important thing about a pattern is always, and this is where most people go wrong, because what is so difficult in trading? Trading is difficult because most of the time you should not trade, and you should sit on your hands, and you should be patient. So what is important about patterns is that you wait for the breakout. You never trade when the price is still in a pattern, when it hasn't broken out. And you have to really wait until you see a full breakout. You always want to make sure that the price is breaking out and closing out of the pattern. Even an intra-candle breakout is not good enough. You want to make sure you break out of a pattern. You have a full close outside of the pattern. Here we have a triple top and a triple bottom range market with a breakout. So let me just, okay. So back to our trading opportunities. Now we're looking at the second. So remember, we are looking, this was the first one that we looked at. Now let's take a look at the second pullback. And you want to make sure that the price is either coming close to the moving average or retesting the moving average. And then you want to look for, okay, can we find a pattern? And here in this example, we have, well, what do you want to call that? Maybe a triangle. The highs are coming down, and we have a support level to the downside. So this is interesting for a few reasons. And most importantly here is, how do the lows, how do the highs move? And you can see the highs are coming down and coming down and coming down. And this is what I would call a breakout buildup. So before the breakout, you can already see that, whereas previously the market was able to trade at a pretty high price. After it hit this price, which is this level, which is again a fake out, like we've seen in the previous example, we are making consecutive lower highs. So every time the market is trying to move higher, the sellers step in sooner and sooner and drive the price down earlier and earlier. This is a very, very important market tell. The way the price moves away or into a support and resistance level is very important. And keep in mind, we are still here in the long-term uptrend. So this is the transition that we are, or the pullback that we are currently looking at. And we are still in a downtrend. So we are in an overall downtrend. And you can see that this pullback phase, or within this pullback phase, we have lower highs and lower lows. Not lower lows, but we have lower highs, which is very, very important. And again, you have a breakout and you have a retest. And you can see afterwards the market really strongly collapsed. Now we're looking at a third pullback. So now we are here. So we have looked at the first one, the second one, the third one. So now we are here at this. This is a trend line based pattern. So here we use the horizontal level, and now we have a trend line. We connect this low and this low and this low. And so as I said, we have horizontal patterns and we have diagonal patterns. Sometimes we use trend lines and sometimes support and resistance. And you can see what do we have. We have a double top, and very often, like we have seen here, we have fake outs. It's very common to see fake outs at patterns in pullbacks, and those fake outs, they trick the traders to take trades against the trend direction. Keep in mind, we are always still in a downtrend, and you don't want to look for longs. So here you can see the market had a trick or fake out, but it resumed the trend direction shortly after. Here as well, fake out, and then you can have a breakout shortly after. Fake out, and then the market dipped back into the pattern, and you can then see a breakout shortly after. And again, after the fake out, you can see lower lows and lower highs, and you can see a breakout buildup, whereas previously the market moved higher quite a lot. You can see here the market is really sticking to the levels. So this is a very important pre-breakout buildup pattern again. And you can see, where's the smooth price action happening? The smooth price action is happening with the trend. Again, we are in the larger downtrend. So the smooth price action happens when the market clears patterns, and down we go. And down we go here on the second pattern, and the third pullback, down we go. In patterns, and especially after those long breakouts, after the breakouts, when the trend has continued, the market is slowing down, and then it's entering a pattern. So the smooth price action always happens after the trending, after the breakout has been initiated and the price is continuing in the higher time frame direction. So now let's take a look at another higher and lower time frame. But we have 176 people. We are so close to hitting 100,000 subscribers on the Tradeciety YouTube channel. Now we are 83 people away. So everybody right now who is not subscribed, make sure to really subscribe to the channel. We are going to hit 100,000 likes or subscribers. And if we don't hit 100,000 subscribers, I am not going to resume the YouTube live sessions every Sunday. I will take a break, maybe for a month or maybe for 2. So everybody make sure to subscribe. And now let's get back to the regular programming. So, okay, now we're getting close. We are 76 people away from hitting 100,000 subs. So that's amazing. So yeah, keep the subs coming and we'll continue. So let's take a look at the second example. Again, you can see we always use the higher time frame moving average to determine the trend direction. Are we in a long market? Are we in a short market? And you always, and this is, I think I've read it in Marty Schwartz's book, who is one of the Pitbull champion traders. No, he's a market wizard, and he wrote a book, Pitbull Champion Trader. Sorry, my mind is a little bit foggy. And he said as well that he uses a moving average to give him the red and green lights, so to determine are we in a long market or are we in a short market. And we want to look for pullbacks at the moving average. So pullbacks at the moving average, and then once you see that the higher time frame price action is pulling into the 50, let's go to the lower. And I have circled those ones. And now let's take a look. So this is the first circled area. You can see here. I made the circle a little bit lower, more opacity. And you can see that what you have here is another trend line based pattern. So you can see that we have a trend line. We have 1, 2, 3 touch points. And it's very important. A trend line is only a trend line if you have 3 touch points. You can connect any 2 random price points on your charts, but only if you have 3 touch points, then a trend line is not subjective anymore. Only if you have 3 touch points, you have a valid trend line. So we have 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 touch points, so definitely a great trend line. And again, how does it look? We are in a long-term downtrend. Around here, the market is below the moving average. We are just having our first pullback period. And you can see what happens here. We have a fake out, price breaks out, and then after the fake out has been rejected, the price makes consecutive lower highs, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and then here pre-breakout, a very strong build-up. And you can see we have break and a retest here as well. And again, once the market has broken out of this pattern, then the smooth trading continues because it's into the direction of the higher time frame. Here we have another example. Here we have now the second pullback into the trend direction. You can see here, what do we have? We have not a follow through. We have not a move down into the trend direction. And patterns help us, and breakouts especially help us to stay away from pullbacks that don't lead into continuations, because you can see we have a trend line here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touch points, and at no point did the market break the pattern. There was no breakout into a new high, and the market kept making higher high and higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and higher low. So this is what a pattern is also doing for us. A pattern is not only providing breakout trading opportunities, like in this case, but it's also helping us to stay out of trades that where we shouldn't be, because there's not an impulse move into the trend direction. So if a pattern is not triggered, and a pattern is always triggered on the breakout, then you don't get in if there's no breakout. So now let's take a look at another example. So now you can see we are above the moving average, and we are above the 50, so we are in a long market, and we just have our first pullback period. You can see the first sideways movement, and this is how it looks. You can see this is the pattern, and again we have a trend line based pattern. You also have a horizontal pattern. You can see here we have already kind of higher lows, just barely, but we still do have higher lows. And again, smooth trading happens on breakouts into the trend direction, not when the market is moving sideways. This is where most amateur traders go wrong. They get involved all the time, but you should always stay out of the market when the market is in transition periods. That's where you lose a lot of money, in transitions. You make money in trending markets. When the market moves, then obviously it's much easier to trade, because you don't have to hold a trade for as long and you have more upside potential. So always stay out of range markets and make sure that you only trade into the direction, into the trend direction breakouts. That's very, very, very important. So those are my two multi-time frame case studies. Always trade into the direction of the higher time frame. Make sure to also make sure to go to the lower time frame, define your patterns, and that is where you find the best trading opportunities. Z, yes, that's very close, very, very close. Now YouTube is not updating it, but I'm sure we should hit 100,000. So right now I would like to open the webinar for questions. So any trading questions, make sure to send them in. Also make sure everybody, we are so close to 100,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So everybody, if you haven't done that, make sure to really subscribe right now. Hit the subscribe button, and we may hit 100,000 likes or subs in this webinar. And now, yeah, let's open this for questions. So what I'm using is the 50 period moving average. How do you handle a fake breakout? You handle it by just getting out of the trade. If you trade a breakout and it doesn't work out, then you just go out. You cut your loss and you wait for the next trading opportunity. You can never predict when a breakout is happening and when a breakout is not happening. Or when it's succeeding, rather. You can only make sure that you wait for all the criteria to line up, and then you execute your trade. Which time frame should we use as a higher time frame? I use the 4 hour as my higher time frame, and then I go to the 15-minute usually to execute my trades. And this is also the trading strategy that I trade right now, and that is explained in the daily bias. So the daily bias is where I explain how to trade. Also, the daily bias includes a Forex beginner course. So if you are completely new to Forex or you don't have as much knowledge, then the daily bias is also the great way to get started, because it's everything in one place. And please, I only have one rule: don't repeat your questions. I read all the questions, but no spamming in the chat, or otherwise I have to unfortunately kick you out. Well, not unfortunately, you have earned it by then. So yeah, please, no spamming. So let's take a look. Now let me check. Do you grade your pullbacks? No, I just make sure that I have all the criteria present, and if all criteria are present, then I will get into the trade. So I have a checklist, and if all my checklist criteria are met, then I will get into a trade. Is it possible to trade with $50 US? No, not at all. You're better off to spend it on a nice dinner with your girlfriend. How do you trade this intraday in equities? I don't trade equities. I only trade Forex. How many years? I've been trading Forex now for 14 years. Yeah, if you're a beginner, the Daily Bias has a beginner Forex course included. And for those people who are looking for a little bit more of a serious mentoring approach, we also have a mentoring group here. No, I don't use stochastics. I don't use indicators. How do you deal with emotions when you're trading live? Fear, greed, and hope. So first of all, you have to make sure that you have defined your system, and you have rules, you have a checklist, and you have defined everything. So this will help you already to have more consistency in your trading. And when it comes to emotions, the biggest problem that traders have, or what the biggest problems that they have, is that they try to shut off their emotions. They try to trade without emotions. Obviously, this will not work. Emotions are an important part of human beings, and we cannot eliminate our emotions in trading, but we can use them to help us understand what is going on. So whenever you feel a strong emotion coming up, it usually means that you have done something wrong. Maybe you've taken too much risk. Maybe you've broken your rules in general. Whatever it may be, that is usually what emotions can help you with. So don't try to shut off your emotions. Instead, let the emotions be guides, or to tell you what is happening and what you're doing. All right, so there are a lot of questions. Let me just pick a few interesting ones. And if you repeat your question, I unfortunately have to block you. So just make this a nice environment for everybody. Oh wow! By the way, I see we have 290 people in the live stream. So everybody right now, leave a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe. We are so close to 100,000 subs. So yeah. Rahul, yes, you can use the daily bias as well for stocks and commodities, and even for cryptos, yes. How often do you go live? Yeah, usually every week, every Sunday. Yes. For swing trading, I also would recommend the daily bias. The daily bias can be used very nicely with a combination of daily time frame and 4 hour. Then you have a more swing trading approach. So we have almost 300 likes. So let's take a look. So should we take a look at a few markets? Let's take a look at a few. Let me change what we are seeing. So everybody should see my trading view now. So by the way, YouTube is not updating it, so I'm not sure if we have hit 100,000 subs, but I'm sure we are pretty close. Okay, we are at 9,950. So we are missing 50 people. So everybody now, if you haven't done this in the live chat, make sure to subscribe right now. And we may hit 100,000 subs in this live video. So the way the daily bias works is that you have 2 options. One is for swing traders, is where you use the combination of daily and 4 hour to time the trades. or you want to be more of an intraday trader, then you use the combination of 4-hour and 30-minute or maybe even 15-minute. And I explained this in the daily bias course. So yeah, it can be used in both ways. So let's take a look at a few New Zealand Swissy. So interesting, on the daily chart we can right away see, what do we see? We are in an uptrend, obviously. We had a breakout here last week. Price is very close to a previous top. And we are seeing Thursday and Friday we have a doji and then a pin bar. So, hey Minispoop, good to see you. Haven't seen you last Sunday, I think, so good to see you. On the lower time frames, we've just seen a fake breakout. So that's going to be interesting. How does the market react to the fake breakout? I don't see anything that is really standing out. Not sure, Heathcliff, which time frame are you looking at? Any specific time frame are you looking, or? Oh wow, we are over 300 people live, so that's probably one of the highest amount of subscribers or viewers that we have. And by the way, everybody, don't forget to leave a comment, leave a like. Where's your other friend? Which other friend? You mean my four-legged friend? He's here behind me. I think she's very tired, huh? The daily bias is the most, yeah, it's $79. It's gonna be an epic investment. So what do we have here? We are at an upper channel. So yeah, we could see, it's gonna be interesting to see, can we see a bounce back into the moving average? That's probably gonna be what people are looking for. Moritz is in Germany. Maybe I will bring him on next week. We'll see. So yeah, that's probably what we are seeing right now. Channel to the upside, channel to the downside. Above the moving average, very far away from the weekly moving average. So very overextended market. Will be interesting to see now. The daily bias also has a checklist and entry criteria. 100k special. Yeah, we haven't hit 100,000, so he's not gonna come. If we don't hit 100,000 today, I don't think he's gonna come anytime soon. So let's take a look. What else do we have? Euro US dollar had a beautiful trade here on Friday. Price was exhausting. You can't see that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trend waves to the downside. The market exhausted. And then beautiful break and retest pattern here. This is the daily bias at its best. Break and retest. And then hundreds, a lot of pips to the upside. So yeah, it will be interesting. Now the market is hitting here previous support. May turn into resistance. So that's going to be a very, very big level here for the Euro US dollar. Tim, you just joined and became a Tradeciety YouTube member. Welcome. That's amazing. So if you have any questions, you have priority over everybody else now. So whatever question you have, I will answer it immediately. So yeah, that's what we're seeing. The Euro US dollar has done a 50% fib. I'm not sure. I don't see it. I don't see a fib that makes sense to plot right now. Yeah, I don't see a fib that is interesting here currently. How many more left to 100,000? Let me double check. YouTube is not updating in real time, it seems. Still 51. What are you guys doing? Everybody, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We are so close. We are so close. So hit the subscribe button and we may hit 100,000 today. Gold. Gold, what do we have? So it broke out of this small transition. JK Null Zig, great. Thank you for subscribing. We are one closer. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. What do you think? Will the support level hold as resistance now? Or will the price fall back into no man's land and just... But gold is not really in a nice spot right now. You can see why are we bouncing around here. The 50 MA on the weekly time frame. Huge support area. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 times in the past. However, you can see last week, almost an engulfing week. So yeah, if the market hits or a close below this long-term moving average would be a very bearish signal. But unless we have not closed below that, you're going to see a lot of volatility around here as we've seen here in the past. So now gold is not in a good state, but yeah. Can you use the Bollinger Bands? Yeah, I used the Bollinger Bands for many years. I don't use them right now. Oh wow, we have 210 people who liked the video, which is, I think the last time our record was 250 likes. The transition, I usually refer to transition as a sideways market. So a transition for me is usually a head and shoulders pattern, a wedge pattern. A transition is just the period between trending phases, or also here at the top. A transition is just a phase where you connect two trending markets, or two trending, either an uptrending wave and a downtrend, or two downtrending. So a transition is what other people would refer to it as a consolidation or a sideways phase or something. Can you explain a bit about structure? What do you mean in general? What do you mean with structure? What do you mean with structure? By the way, how interesting is the DAX here? Big level here. All-time highs. And Friday as a doji. That would be interesting. All right. Do I think the DAX will correct soon? I'm not sure. As long as the market is... I would require the market to break out of the lower pattern. I don't think... Well, the first... Obviously, you have two options now. Continue into new highs. Or to the downside, the first reasonable target would be the 50 on the daily. That's usually where the market goes. Yeah, if the market can break out of the lower time frame pattern, so you can see there's probably some type of... Here's a big level. So as long as the market keeps making higher highs and higher lows, you are in an uptrend, so there's no way to look for a correction. But if the market breaks such a structure, then you may look for something that could reverse. But it's trading at all-time highs. Shorting indices is very, very dangerous. So keep that in mind. Not something that I would maybe recommend. Oh, so you mean structures, you say... For you, structures are patterns or just sideways phases, huh? So something like that. That's what I would call this a sideways structure. You can see we have a, whatever you want to call it, a reverse wedge or whatever. So where do people go short? On a breakout. And what do people then do? Is they move their stop loss to break even, and what happens? Break even stops don't work, so retests are always aiming at taking out break even stops. So it's very interesting. Once you study breakouts, then you will also see, okay, this is where people move their stop loss, and this is where then people get taken out, because break even stops are very, very, very vulnerable. Balaji, so you are a YouTube member, which is great. So your questions have always priority. So do you see the swing formation between stocks and currencies differ? Yeah, so stocks and currencies do move a little bit differently. For currencies, it doesn't really matter if you trade long or short. It doesn't really matter if you're in an uptrend or a downtrend. It usually moves. There's no difference, because you can flip this around. You can, for example, instead of looking at the US dollar Swiss, you look at the Swiss US dollar, and then you have pretty much everything in reverse. So long and short, there's no difference in stocks and Forex. There's no difference in Forex trading, whether you look for a short or a long, or with the trend or against the trend, or a bull market or a bear market, however you want to phrase it. But stocks do move differently. Stocks move very differently on the way up and on the way down. So this is something that is very different in stocks and Forex trading. So this is something that you have to really study if you are a stock trader over a currency trader. Stocks move different for long and short markets. Cool. So I'm not going to take a look at any cryptos. I don't trade cryptos actively. I just hold them in a long-term portfolio. But I have a very long-term outlook. I hold them for a few years. I've bought my first cryptos back in 17 or 16. 17, I think, 2017. And I'm still holding. I don't trade them actively. I trade only Forex. And I've been trading Forex for 14 years now. Very welcome, Balaji. You can ask any question. Since you are a YouTube member, your questions will always get answered before anyone else's questions. Hello, Charles Darkwa. Welcome. By the way, we have 320 people, 250 likes. So everybody make sure to hit. Do we have 100? I don't think so. You guys are lazy on the subscribe button, huh? Oh, we are only 17 people away. 17 people. Everybody, we only need 17 more. I think we can do this. So I started, when I was starting as a trader, I started when I was still in university. I had a day job. When I was studying and I was trading. So as a student, I had very, very little free time. And I was either studying, looking at charts, or working at a job to just keep building my savings. And once I was done with university, I had to make a choice. What am I going to do? And I certainly was not going to go to a normal 9-to-5 job. So what I did was I sold everything that I owned back then, which was not too much as a student, and I bought a one-way ticket to Asia, because the living expenses in Asia are obviously very, very low compared to Germany. So low living expenses allowed me to approach my life in very, very different fashion. I had time suddenly, which is the most important thing, and I didn't have any pressure. So with the savings that I had, I then focused everything on my trading. We built Tradeciety and Edgewonk, and obviously this is a huge relief once you can cut down on living expenses. So reducing expenses is always very helpful. Frank, I did study economics and finance. I got a master's in finance. My master's thesis was even about futures trading. My bachelor's was also about the capital markets. So yeah, I used every waking moment to just think about the markets. Vija, nice. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Lorenzo, for subscribing. So we should be almost there. What's the best time frame for intraday? Yeah, I trade the 15-minute time frame as well with the daily bias. So with this one, I trade. Oh yeah, Mannheim. Yeah, obviously I know Mannheim. My high school was grades were pretty bad. So I couldn't go to a nice or to a prestige university. I ended up studying in Regensburg, which was actually amazing, and I often thought about going back to Regensburg. It's a very nice student city. But yeah, I did not take studying and anything serious until I got to university. I was a really, really bad student in high school because I just didn't see the purpose of school. But once I was in university, everything completely changed. My life turned around pretty much 180 degrees. I ended up with one of the top 2 or top 3 master's thesis in my grade. I won a prize for my master's. So yeah. Wayne, aber sicher doch. Safe. So sieht's aus. Yep. We can do should we do the remaining webinar in German? That would be fun. Yes. By the way, I'm planning a German project. Nothing trading related, but for many years I wanted to do a German project. So I finally have an idea. I started already in the background, so it's gonna be. I look forward to this. I've been doing Tradeciety and Edgewonk and English content for years and years. I recently checked. I made more than 1,000 trading videos in the last 6 years. So yeah, I'm looking forward to some German content. Maybe in 2 or 3 weeks I will get started, or it will be published. I was learning German. Nice, good for you. My wife was really upset when she had to learn German. But yeah, I would be equally upset if I had to study Thai now. Yeah. $100,000. Are we already at 100? I don't think so. I think we're just a few shy. We're almost there. We're almost there. Almost there. By the way, we have almost 300 likes, which is, I think, the record definitely for a YouTube live. Thank you, Adnan. That's very nice. Thank you for subscribing. Let's take a look. Heathcliff. British Pound, New Zealand. By the way, how many Germans do we have in here? So, jeder, der Deutsch ist, einfach mal kurz melden, damit ich mal sehe, wie viele Deutsche wir hier haben. British Pound, New Zealand. On a daily... Well, on a daily, this is nothing here. It's stuck in this range. You can see that. Deutsch. Well, on a daily, Heathcliff... On a daily, we are stuck in a very, very tight range. So on a daily, it's too tight of a market. There's almost no no wiggle room here for the price. So that's not good. I would never trade such a market. You want to make sure that you are in a very nice trendy market. Yeah. So this is a market that I would immediately eliminate from my watch list. Whereas here, for example, I'm looking to trade the US dollar yen. You can see nice trending market here on the daily as well. So this is a market that I would really like to trade. But all the market, so this is my scanning process pretty much. I look for trendy markets. I look for trending markets, and I would always immediately remove all of those range markets. Wayne, yeah, I'm not going to do a German trading project. So the German project that I'm going to do is it's not going to be trading related. Deutsch. Okay, so it seems like Frank and Wayne, we're the only Germans here. Okay. Oh, we hit 100,000. Oh, we do. Amazing. Amazing. That's amazing. Thank you everybody for subscribing. Really cool. I never expected that I would hit 100,000. I didn't start YouTube for many years. I think only 3 years into Tradeciety, I started with YouTube. Because I always felt that it was too late, because YouTube was already around and there are so many people who have already 100,000 or million subscribers, and yeah. And very interestingly, I used to be very scared of public speaking. In high school, I would skip complete days and weeks of school when there was any chance I had to stand in front of the class. In university, I would even ditch complete courses. I would accept to fail a complete course if it meant public speaking. And when I started YouTube, I was so shy to make YouTube videos So what I would do is I would write a complete script for my first YouTube videos, and I would just read it line by line by line. And it got, YouTube was like a therapy for me, pretty much, in overcoming it. Now I have no problem speaking in public. My biggest talk was in Poland. I think a few hundred people were there. So yeah, YouTube has made a big difference in my life, funny enough. So yeah, interesting. Just a side note. Party time, yeah. My dog doesn't seem like it's partying a lot. You can see. No party time. No. Sunny, yes, it will also work in Indian markets, yes. Glad to see the return of technical chart reading. Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's really hot here, obviously, in Thailand, and we went out for a big walk. Will there be any future price? Well, currently the daily bias is at 79 US dollar. It will be soon back to 200. So yeah. Greetings to the Czech Republic. Nice. Greetings back. I used to study very close to the Czech Republic. I used to study in Regensburg, so how are the taxes in Thailand? Well, you don't have Google. We have obviously also businesses that we run besides trading. So yeah, we have business. We have many income streams, and we are currently setting up. Moritz is moving to Hong Kong, and we are setting up a hedge fund there. So yeah. All right. So wow, we really hit 100,000. That's amazing. So thank you, everyone. We really hit 100,000 subs. Why Thailand, not Dubai? What do you mean, why? Why not? What's that for a question? And why Dubai? I don't get it. What kind of question is that? When? Thank you. And you are also a YouTube member. So thank you for that. All right. So cool. That was really an amazing live stream. We've never had so many people tuning live. And we hit 100,000. That's amazing. So now on to the next 100K, huh? Heathcliff. Yeah, the daily bias is a complete strategy. Everything that you need. All rules, entry rules, whatever rules. Yeah. Jesus. Why do you have to start spamming? Well, I've talked a lot about indicators on my YouTube channel. There are many videos about indicators on my YouTube. So, any more questions that we haven't done? Please no repeating of your questions. So the only indicators that I use is the moving average, the 50 period moving average. So I'm not sure why my camera just disappeared. Maybe it's a special effect when you hit 100,000 subs. Alright, so why do we have to... No spamming, please. This is not nice. No spamming. No, no, no. Which time frame do you prefer for intraday trading? I trade the 15-minute time frame for intraday. Yes. Burnt in the sun and burnt in the wallet, yeah. Okay, let me just block a few people, which is always fun. Jesus. You should have some manners. No spamming. But thankfully, YouTube has a very nice hide function. Yeah, so you definitely don't get burned in the wallet in Thailand. That's the one thing that is for sure. I'm not sure why my camera is now not working anymore, but we'll see. Yes, Johnny, yeah? It's a great coincidence. Christian, you just joined Pro Trader. Welcome. So yeah, if you become a YouTube member, your questions have priority. Unless you're spamming, then I will still ban you. What's the best strategy for trading every day? The daily bias. I have around, it depends a little bit, between 4 and 8 trades per week you can get with the daily bias. Alrighty, so I will try to get Moritz on to the next Sunday live stream, since everybody was so nice and subscribed and we hit the 100,000 subs. I will do my best and get Moritz onto the stream next week. We'll see. If you follow him on Instagram, just spam his inbox a little bit, and on Twitter as well, just spam a little bit. Tell him to go on. Alrighty. So that was really an interesting webinar. So wow. So everybody, enjoy your beginning of the week. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, so you get notified about the next Sunday webinar. And yeah, I will try my best to bring Moritz on. Maybe we can do a podcast. Where am I hiding? I don't know. YouTube just... My webcam seems to not work anymore. We'll figure it out until next week. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy your beginning of the trading week. Thank you so much for all the likes, all the comments, all the views, all the love. And I will be back. Definitely. I've also planned a few new psychology videos for the week coming. So keep an eye out for them. And I will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.